Okay, so shall we start?
Yes, please.
Okay, so a very good evening, ladies and gentlemen, JCI members and friends. Welcome to the public speaking workshop. This workshop is a collaboration between JCI Pearl and JCI Perai. And my name is June, and it is my pleasure to be your MC today. To begin, allow me to quote George Jessel. The human brain starts working the moment you are born and never stops until you stand to speak in public. So ladies and gentlemen, public speaking is a tool. It is a weapon for us to be better communicators. And in JCI, we strive to improve our personal development skills, and public speaking is one of them. So it is a pleasure for us to be here on Zoom and on Facebook Live. And today, on this beautiful Sunday night, we are very honored to have two very prominent public speakers to be with us today to share some useful tips on how to improve our public speaking skills. So let us now begin with the recitation of JCI Creed, JCI Mission, and JCI Vision. May I now invite Angelina Ng, the Secretary of JCI Pearl, to lead us in the recitation. May I have the slides here?
Hello, good evening. I'm Angelina here. JCI Creed will believe that faith in God gives meanings and purpose to human life, that the brotherhood of man transcends the sovereignty of nations, and that economic justice can best be won by free men through free enterprise, that government should be of law rather than of men, that Earth's great treasure lies in human personality, and that the service to humanity is the best work of life. Hello.
Yes, please continue.
JCI vision to be the leading global network of young active
OC, could someone help out Angelina to complete, because I think her internet connection is unstable?
Thank you, Joe. I'll continue. JCI mission to provide development opportunity that empower young people to create positive change. JCI vision to be the leading global network of young active citizens.
Thank you for leading us in the recitation. Next slide, please. So now we would like to recognize and acknowledge our area officers and the presidents of various local organizations who are with us here today. So first we have Call Eugene, the 2021 JCI Malaysia Area North Area Publications, Public Relations and Digital Transformation Director. Would you like to unmute and say hi?
Good evening, everyone. Eugene here.
Hi. And we also have Anisil Te, the 2021 JCI Pearl President.
Hello, good evening, everyone. I'm Anisha here.
And we also have Keith Lee, the 2021 JCI Perai President.
Good evening. Thank you.
Okay. We also have Leo Te, the 2021 JCI Sungai Petani Charter President.
Hi, everyone. Good evening.
It is a pleasure to have you joining us here today. Next slide, please. Okay, as I mentioned, my name is June and I am your MC today, and I am from JCI Perai. Without further ado, I would now like to invite our organizing chair lady, Amanda Chia, who is also the Vice President Individual and Vice President International of JCI Pearl to give her opening speech.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I hope today is definitely a wonderful day. And this public speaking workshop, I've been working out with our partner JCI Perai for a few weeks. And I hope that all of us, especially all the participants, will benefit from this workshop. Thank you so much.
Thank you, OC, for your speech. Okay, as this event is a collaboration between JCI Pearl and JCI Pride. And with that, I would now like to invite President Anisil Ted, the president of JCI Pearl this year, to give her speech.
Hello, everyone. Good evening, all leaders here. So I want to give everyone in this group a very big clap because nearby the Chinese New Year, still take your time and attend this public speaking workshop. So like just now the MC mentioned, public speaking is a weapon for us. Is to communicate and present our thoughts. So rather than that, I think that is the most important is we have a very Langzai and very powerful trainer here. So everyone is interested on this training. So I hope everyone have a fruitful workshop tonight. Thank you.
Thank you for that speech, President. I would now like to invite President Keith, the 2021 President of JCI Pride, to now give his speech.
Okay, thank you, MC. Thank you, MC June. All right. So good evening. As protocol observed. Okay. Thanks to both prominent trainer. So 2021 President Joe Chang from JCI Bukit Mutajam. Thank you also to distinguished Toastmaster Mr. Loh E-Jiat for this for coming in to train us on public speaking. So and also Asha to JCI Pearl invite JCI Pride to organize this workshop together with along. So thank you, President Asha, for bringing this workshop for the participants to learn together. So I also hope that tonight we can get a very good training, and I hope everyone that participate in can ask more questions to our both trainer because they are very excellent and they are very well. You know, they are able to give us a very good training for us to go for the public speaking. So I do hope that everyone attention to learn it, and I also further any delay. Also, I would like to thanks to all the participants who enroll in for tonight's training. So thank you so much, and I pass back to the MC. Thank you.
Thank you,
MC. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sure we are going to learn a lot today. So before I introduce our two very handsome trainers, let us now take a very short break and let us have our group photo taken. So I would like to ask all of you to turn on your video and give us your best smile so that our IT can take a group photo.
Okay, everyone ready? I think we have one page here. Okay, everyone just see your camera. 3, 2, 1. Another one. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Yeah. Okay. MC.
Okay.
JQ, can we take again? Because just now I see some they didn't turn on the camera. Sorry. Can we retake again?
Sorry, President. From here, I think most of everyone of them open the camera.
Oh,
from
just now I think Jet song. Yeah. Okay. One more time, I think. Okay, ready?
Yeah. Let's take again.
Okay, carry on.
Okay.
Huh? Can I?
Yeah, sure. Okay, sure. Thank you.
Are we done?
Yeah, okay, sure. MC, we can
Okay,
proceed.
so ladies and gentlemen, we are very honored to have two very prominent public speakers to be with us here today, and they are President Chang and Loh E-Jiat. So if you have any questions, please type your question in the chat box and we'll have a Q&A session after the workshop, after both speakers have spoken. You may also unmute yourself during the Q&A session and ask the questions to the trainers. So now, allow me to introduce our first trainer, Chang. May I have the slides, please? Okay. Yeah. Chang has won many competitions. So to list a few, he was the champion for Area North Public Speaking in 2017 and 2020. He was also the champion for 2020 JCI Malaysia Online Public Speaking Competition. If that's not enough, he has also won the 2018 JCI World Congress debate and was also a holder of the Malaysia Book Records in 2019. Joe is currently the president of JCI Bukit Mertajam. So let us now unmute ourselves and give a big hand to our President Chang. Over to you, President.
All right, thank you so much. So first of all, I'd like to thank you so much to June. June, thank you so much for the introduction. And it's been quite a great pleasure to have also a contestant from last year's Area North Public Speaking Contest to introduce myself. A great pleasure. Okay, so can someone help me out in terms of stop sharing the screen? Thank you. All right, thank you so much. So, okay, I know that tonight everybody's time, many of you, there might be multiple trainings actually running concurrently tonight. I do not know why is it tonight. At least on my timetable, I know from the whole Malaysia, we have at least 4 workshops running concurrently tonight. So I'm gonna make your life easier because tonight I'm gonna just cut straight to the point and share you things that are more relevant to you in terms of preparing you to actually do a public speaking competition that is coming, I think, around March for Area North Convention. I'm not too sure how many of you here are for the competition, how many of you here are to learn more about how to do public speaking. But before I start introducing or cut straight into what I'm going to share much later, I just want to see in terms of reaction, okay? You can type in the chat box and give me your response. Okay, I just want to know, how many here have already attended public speaking workshop before? Can you type 1? And for those, this is your first time attending a public speaking workshop, I want to type 2. Okay, I saw Miss Dan 1, definitely. Miss Dan, this workshop, the reason that you're here, I'm still quite surprised. Amanda, yes, okay, first time. Andy, do my pianwa, Mandy, huh? This is definitely not your first time. Melvin Chan, okay, Melvin Chan. Yes, let me see. Okay, Melvin Chan, this is your first time. Elaine from the Butterworth City, first time. Lynn, first time. Victor Chang, first time. June, are you sure? Strong doubts. I believe when you're doing your bar in the UK, this has been like peanuts to you. CD Lee, yes, I agree. CD is quite a famous trainer from League Tropicana. So hi CD, thank you for being here. CP Liu, first time. Hey, 你骗我啊 CP Liu. 你骗我第一天啊 Next one, President Keith. President Keith, don't lie to me, come on. Initial, definitely not the first time. Jet, first time. Then Miss Dan, keep learning from the expert. I'm definitely not just sharing. And Lynn, okay, great. So after knowing in terms of whether it's your first time or the second time, I think that's not so important. What's most important is in terms of what we are going to learn today. So today our session we'll split into 2 sessions. Okay. So if I'm speaking too fast, always feel free to stop me in the Zoom chat box. 如果你觉得我讲的英文太快，你听不懂，你也可以 stop 我. I will make it easier for your understanding also. Okay. So next thing is, I want you to know is in terms of what we will try to achieve today. So first half of the session, which is until I will try before 8 p.m. I will cover with you in terms of my experience of public speaking and I will share with you what I think are the most basic things that you can learn to become a greater public speaker. Then on the second half hour, which is from 8 p.m. till 9 p.m., it will be handled over by distinguished Toastmaster Loh E-Jiat. For your information, he's also my mentor back then when I was in Penang in Toastmasters, my great mentor. He's here. He'll be sharing you from a perspective in terms of what are the criteria coming from a judge's perspective when it comes to evaluating a good public speech. All right. So with that, I shall start sharing my screen. Okay, that's nice. All right, so let's get started. Okay, so I'm gonna do a very small activity with all of you. So this small activity, very simple. So when I call upon your name, I want you to unmute yourself and do a 30-second introduction. Okay, a self-intro, 30 seconds. Do it as quickly as possible. Then, then we will listen about it. Then I will pick five. Then the next people, after you finish your self-intro, I want you to pick the next person in this room. Who will be the next person doing their self-intro? Okay, Bo? Yeah. So the idea today is for you to sabotage those you don't like one. 你讲完了过后, after you finish speaking, you feel that this person is not paying attention, call that person's name out. Right? So to be fair, rather than randomly calling people's name, I'd rather I use the wheel of fortune to pick my lucky winner today. So the moment your name appeared, you have to do self-introduction for 30 seconds. Okay? When 30 seconds is up, I will clap my hand. Then you have to stop, name the next person that you are to do their self-introduction. Simple? Yeah? Everybody okay? Can understand? Okay? All right. So let's get started. Okay, so let's start with my first lucky number. Who is my first lucky participant today? Oh, Amanda, look out on. Yes, Amanda, 30 seconds, self-introduction. Make it simple.
Hi everyone, my name is Amanda. I'm from JCI Pearl. For those that didn't know me, I'm actually not as young as you think. A lot of people think I'm young, but I'm not. I got an 11-year-old kid anyway. So I'm also the VP individual and also international from my chapter. A lot of people ask me why I carry two portfolio, but I don't know. Maybe my past P want to challenge me. So that's about it from my side. Thank you so much.
Okay, Amanda, next one. Name.
Next one, I would like to call Andy from JCI SP.
Right, Andy, JCISP, turn on your camera, unmute yourself.
Okay,
30
so
seconds
heavy,
starts now.
Amanda. Okay, so hi everyone, my name is Andy, but I'm not Andy Lau, my name is Andy Tan, so I'm from JCI Sungai Petani. So this year I take a position of Vice President individual. So yeah, that's all for my part. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Andy. Next one, name the next person faster. Don't
Leo.
mute yourself. Who? PP Leo, is it? Leo. President Leo, 来30秒.
Hi,
now.
my name is Leo. I'm a lawyer, so I'm from JCI Sungai Petani. So this year I am charter president of JCI Sungai Petani. So the reason I joined this event because Chang is my idol, so I want to learn from Chang. Thank you.
Okay, next, Leo.
JCI Perai Xiao Xing.
JCI Perai Xiao Xing.
Good evening, everybody. Can you hear me?
Good evening.
Yes. I am from JCI Perai, not from Japan. I'm work as a fire system consultant. This year I joined JCI Perai last year, and I hope can learn more about public speaking tonight. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Xiao Xin. Next, Xiao Xin, please nominate the next person.
Keith. President Keith.
Okay. Hello. Good evening, everyone. Okay, my name is Keith Lee. I'm from JCI Perai. So this year I'm 2021 JCI Perai president, and myself I'm married with 2 kids. So roughly I think that's about it lah. Thank you so much. So next is
thank you so much, Keith. Next person, please.
Next person, Melvin.
Melvin. Yes, for JCI entrepreneur, Melvin. Introduce yourself. 30 seconds starts now.
Hi guys, Melvin from JCI Entrepreneur. Current year's executive vice president for the chapter. We have to talk about marriage. Then it will yes, married with 3 kids. I'm actually a entrepreneur, right? Based in KL, mainly involved with digital strategies. So that's all for me. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much, Mel. Nominate names faster.
Let's do Dan from JC Apple.
Miss Dan.
Hi, actually I'm Dan. I'm from Penang. JCI, of course, I'm an associate member of JCI Pearl. And I actually a retiree since last year from an international manufacturing company working for 35 years. But I'm now currently an entrepreneur and engaged in the internet marketing business. And I believe in learning is a continual process regardless of age and position. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miss Dan. Nominate the next person, please.
Xiaoxin. JCI.
Xiaoxin has already nominated. Xiaoxin has already introduced himself just now. Yeah. Next one.
Li Jiaqun. Li Jiaqun.
Yi Jiajun. JQ, our host. Jiajun. Jiajun from JCI Perai. I think he cannot hear you. Never mind. Next one. Do you have any other names?
Melvin Sabutani.
Melvin already done.
Okay. How about Victor Tang?
Victor Tang.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Victor. I'm from JCI Perai. So I've joined JCI Perai for about 48 months already. Okay, so I'm EVP for 2021.
All right.
So I hope to learn more how to speak well, okay, in front of the public. Okay, so public speaking. All right, thank you.
Thank you so much, Victor. Next one, Victor.
Lin.
Lin. Yes, Lin.
Hi everyone. My
Hi.
name is Lin from JCI Perai. I'm an associate member and I'm here to learn about public speaking. I'm an accountant.
All right,
Thank you.
nice. Next person, name anyone.
Who else?
Cannot be someone who has already introduced themselves, preferably someone who hasn't introduced themselves.
Okay. Maybe Angelina JCI Pearl.
Yes, Angelina, 30 seconds
Hello,
starts
everyone.
now.
Okay, hello everyone. I'm Angelina from JCI Pearl. I'm e-commerce. I work in e-commerce. Then I hope that today public speaking that I can learn something new and improve my speaking skill. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Angelina. Next person, Angelina, name. Name the next person, Angelina.
Wait, Honey from JCI Pearl.
Honey from GCI Pearl.
Hello, my name is Honey Chu.
Hi.
Hello, Joe.
All right.
I joined JCI Pearl end of 2019, and I was a baker. And now I'm learning some digital art. So I'm here today to learn from you and all of you. Right. Next person.
Yes.
Next person. Jet.
God. Who?
Song.
Jet Song. Yes.
Okay. Hello, hi.
30 seconds
Good evening,
introduction.
everyone. Yeah. Can you hear?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Hello. This is Jet. I'm from Sungai Petani. I'm joining JCI Perai instead of JCI Sungai Petani because of Keith Lee and Xiaoxin. Okay. I'm currently doing interior design and also indoor plant business. I'm here to learn more tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Jet. Can you name the next person?
Let's see. June.
June.
June Loh.
Quick introduction.
June, please.
Hi everyone. My name is June. I am from JCI Perai. I'm the General Legal Counsel this year. I'm a lawyer by profession. The reason why I'm called June is because I was born in June, and I would like to say doing bar is nothing like public speaking. Thank you.
All right. Name the next person. Quick. I can still see multiple persons here haven't introduced themselves. Yes.
Eugene.
Eugene.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Eugene from JCI Metro. I'm the immediate past president. People who are closer with me call me Ajin, and then I help people to see clearly and comfortably. I run an optical shop, and before Joe even pops the question, can I have the guy with the longest list of accolades in this room to do his introduction? The guy who has the guy with the longest list of personal accolades in JCI, the one in red.
The one in
President
red.
Joe.
Wow, you want to play this? Okay, hi. All right. Since Eugene nominated me, hi everyone. My name is Joe Chang. I'm actually graduated from law. I didn't practice as a lawyer. I actually work as a compliance officer, which actually works behind a bank. So why do I do all this? Is because I got an opportunity to come to KL, and right now I'm still based in KL. And of course, my chapter is actually located in Penang. And this Chinese New Year, I'm spending time in KL. Cannot come back to Penang, and I definitely miss all of you back in my hometown. So after me, I think I want to hear from CD Lee.
Hi everyone, my name is CD and I'm from JCI Lead Chipagana. Although my name is CD, but my position this year is actually Secretary General. And I've been in JCI for almost 5 years now, but participated in every year's championship for the public speaking, still cannot get champion. So today I'm here to learn from the champion.
Wow, this one very stressed after listening. Yes, CD, can you name the next person? I can still see two girls who have yet to introduce themselves.
Okay, next person I want to nominate is Joanne Cole.
Joanne Cole?
Hi everyone. Buddy, you kill me, is it? Okay, fine. Okay, hi everyone. I'm Joanne from JCI South Key, and I'm the founder chapter in my South Key. I'm a vice president of Rome and Internationals for this year. And my career, I'm a team leader for customer service and outsourcing for overseas client actually. So maybe I will kill the last person is JCI Perai Miligo, I think so, the GLC. It's my idol.
All right, nice, Joanne.
Thank
So
you.
you're calling for Millie Go, is it? Millie, are you convenient to actually turn on your camera and speak, or your baby is still, I think, is it convenient?
Can.
Can lah, Millie, yay!
Yeah.
Hi everyone. My name is Millie Go. I joined JCI at the end of 2014, so until now. And this year I'm taking the position of LOGLC, so to serve back the chapter after serving 2 years in National Board. So that's all. Any more participants to call? No
Yes,
more,
I believe I haven't get to hear from Elaine, JCI Butterworth City. Elaine, do you mind introducing yourself? Thank you.
Hi, I'm Elaine. I'm from JCI Butterworth City. I'm a member since last year, so it's 4 months from now. And I'm currently doing a business that sells natural foods and products. And I want to learn more about public speaking too. So thank you.
All right, thank you so much for your introduction. So I hope I didn't miss out anyone, because I think E-Jiat later I will let MC to make a greater introduction of our second trainer, which is E-Jiat. So let's move back to our slides. Did I miss out anyone? No? Yes?
Yes, I am.
Ah!
Nobody called me.
Oh my God, Anisho, yes, President Anisho. We leave the best for the last, isn't it? So yes.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. I'm Anisha Tech. I joined JCI since 2016. So some of the posts I already hold it, but just I'm not challenged for GLC and the secretary job. This task is very tough for me. So I'm very happy and enjoy can know everyone here and can learn together with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Anisha. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. For your information, Anisha is also my, when we attended Train the Trainer one, she's actually part of my buddy team also. We are under the same group. That's why we have been quite close till today. All right. So let me share you my screen again. So let's go back to your self-introduction. I hope that today this particular activity is here to help you in terms of doing a bit of ice breaking. Because I know that a lot of people say that, public speaking very hard, or I don't really know how to do public speaking. But know this, the moment you actually started introducing yourself, even in a very small group like 22 people here in this room, you can do an introduction of yourself and it's very clear and we know you better, I think that itself is already considered a way of public speaking. So to all of you who have just tried and are being called, you might like it, you might not like it, but you tried to actually introduce yourself, I said, give yourself a great round of applause. Thank you so much for participating in that small activities, okay? All right, so I'm gonna move on to my slides. Okay, this is not really important because June has already went through, so I'm gonna cut straight into my slides. Wait, let me see. All right, so actually, a lot of people ask me in terms of what is public speaking all about. So I can only share you that a lot of people keep thinking that I think at least in JC items, a lot of people thought will only remember me for in terms of the championships that I actually participated and have really won. And through the years, most people just remember me for these kind of things. But actually, outside of JCI, I was also a Toastmaster. I'm also a person who in the past who don't really is considered as not really good at public speaking. Why do I say so? Um, Although a lot of people keep on reminding, say, "Aya, Joe is already a person who have been in competitions for so many years and whatnot," and that's the impression. But if I were to turn back time on 5 years, 5 to 6 years ago, I'm actually a person who always enjoy working from behind the scenes. I'm not too sure you remember whenever there's a competition, we used to have physical competition, and you will always see people working behind the scenes. The DJ, the person who carry the speakers, the person who control the volume system. I'm used to be a professional in doing all that because I enjoy to sabotage those speakers who I don't really like. So if today this speaker very lancy, I don't like, and me as a person who work background as a sound system, I can purposely make sure that his mic is not working well. So he will be very big check. Then suddenly when he wants to shout, I lower down his volume. And when he wants to speak, I turn up his volume. So that's me back then. And I enjoy that for quite some time. But of course, there's also a reason why suddenly I become quite active in public speaking. But I can assure you one thing is, today, as long as you wanted to learn more about public speaking, it's never too late. And to me, I would tell you sincerely, if you really want to improve public speaking, it's always just about taking up the opportunity and practice more. Because in JCI and outside JCI, there's always platform out there looking for people who is willing to become MC, who is willing to do public speaking, who is willing to speak on behalf of the president when the president is not around. President damn love you one. If president today not around, send you a message, say, Amanda, help me say this, then Amanda can say finish everything nicely and clearly. President then happy one. You see Keith, you see initial bowl laugh until like that, you already know the answer. So the opportunity is always there. Okay. So prior to that, a lot of people, how did I get into how to say JCI? So if you look at this picture, I joined JCI since at the end of year 2016. And I joined JCI for only one very good reason lah. Because back then, I was a president in the Toastmasters Club, and my vice president back then was actually Skylar. So I'm not too sure if in this picture you all know which one is Skylar or not. I give you hint. When I say Skylar, the name is like sky like that. So them confirm like man god, man like those kind of manly god face one. So if you look at this picture, you see whoever is the most handsome one, that one is Skylar lah. He's the person who actually um, asked me to join JCI when he actually became the president. So I did as an exchange because we look for each other out, and that is when I actually explore even more about the public speaking stage or even in terms of JCI. But prior to all that, for what you guys know me for in JCI and whatnot, I think there's also a history in terms of people that don't really know me about. I think this history started in terms of how did I actually started in this journey and how did I started back then. So I actually started as a person who actually don't really, like I said, I don't really enjoy being a public speaker. One of the many reasons is because I feel people who like to do public speaking are either two type of people. One, likes to show off, or two, are people who are who are very confident about what they think they say is confirmed 100% correct. So like politicians, they always say things that they think that's correct. So they are out there to do whatever they want. Then for me, I feel that this kind of people are not people that I really admire. So, and of course, because I don't think public speaking is very useful. As long as I can get my job done, I can do everything nice, then that's it. But eventually I realized that this is not the case, and there was a trigger point that happened. But prior to that trigger point, let me show you in terms of how how inconfident I am back then. Okay, so to show you some pictures, these are the moments when I actually participated in Area North Convention. This is actually my first time when I actually participated in public speaking in Area North. I still remember, if I'm not mistaken, it's the Penang. I forgot which hotel already. I know that it's nearby Central Town. I can't remember. If anyone could remind me in the chat box, please do. This is actually the first time that I actually joined in a JCI English public speaking contest. And unlike any public speaking contest I ever attended, I can tell you that this time is the first time I actually joined a public speaking contest where everybody in the room all wear very handsome or very pretty formal. Then they will look at you like, wow, who is this young boy? Don't know what he's talking. Then know how to act here, act there. What is it? But the main reason that I was even in this public speaking contest back then, it was just because my president come and tell me, do you guess what? I let you guess. How about I try June? I let you guess. In terms of what do you think my president say to me to convince me to join public speaking competition?
You're asking me?
Yes, I want you just to try to think what did my president say to me to persuade me to join public speaking competition?
Because of your profession.
Not really. But never mind, good try. How about I try again, Melvin? Melvin, do you like to try? What do you think that the president will try to convince a new member like me to join a English public speaking contest?
I want you to become president in 2 years' time, so you better be able to talk to them, to talk publicly.
I see. I think if I heard that, I think I might say, oh, never mind, Skyler. I will see you 5 years later. All right. How about let's try Victor. Victor, do you like to try?
I think
what would the
you
president
have
say to you to
very
convince you to join a contest?
face.
Yeah. Again?
You have a very confident look.
Confident look. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, but that's definitely not what he said to me. I try again one more time, a last one. How about Elaine from Butterworth City? Do you like to try? What do you think the president would tell you to persuade you to join this English public speaking contest?
You have a chance to win.
You have a chance to win. Okay. Thank you so much for all of you who tried. You know what Skylar told me back then? He come to me one night, suddenly call me out of the blue. And I can tell you back then, whenever you know back then, for me at least, my time we all use WhatsApp lah. So when people call you out of the night, no warning, no nothing, usually it's bad news. So usually such calls I will try to not to take one. But just so happened that night, I took up his call, and he said this to me. He said, "Hey Joe, how are you doing?" So when president call you out of the blue and ask you how are you doing, or this is a very dangerous indicator, which means that he has something to want to ask from you. So be careful. So he asked me, he said, "How are you, Joe? How's JCI Bukit Medajam for you?" And I just joined Bukit Medajam for 3 to 4 months or so, as new as Elaine back then. Then he told me, he said, "Hey, actually, Area North Convention is coming, and there will be public speaking competition and English debating competition. I plan to join both. You join too lah." Then I was like, okay, President, you want to join? Go lah. Why would I want to join you? Then he said this. He said, oh, no lah. Very easy one. 玩玩罢了嘛，我们去玩玩罢了. We go and play only. He said, don't worry one. Very small one. People there all are not so competitive one. Easy. So that's exactly the words that he told me. At first, because it's a president, a handsome president who asks a small member like me to join, you see. So back then I was too young to learn the art of saying no. I do not know how many of you know how to reject your president, but back then I'm still very young. I do not know how to reject my president. So the moment he said, okay ma, I wanted to say, let me think about it lah, because this is what I learned from my girlfriend subsequently, to say whenever people ask you, you're not sure, just say, 给我想一下, let me think about it. But I didn't say that. I said, okay lah, steady, you go, I go lor. So eventually I go, and I can still remember the day before the competition. The topic was a very, very difficult topic. I don't even know how to prepare a speech and whatnot. I also need to prepare for English debating competition. So I just think of 1,000 ways to come up with a speech. I go and compete. And this is the photo that you saw how I actually competed back then. On the very right photo is actually me standing in the room doing rehearsals. That's why you don't see me with my coat. And the left one and the center one is the one that actually competed subsequently. But what did I learn from here is that at the end of the day, no matter whether how good or how bad your public speaking is, I can tell you that it's all comes down to in terms of preparation. How much have you prepared for it? I was very lucky back then. I have really good president who actually accompany me. You see the feet on my right side photo, you see down there are 2 feet, 2 shoes, black color with black socks. Do you see that? Yes? Can you see that 2 feet on the very right photo down there? The one that I didn't wear a coat? Those feet are actually Skylar Tan's feet. He was sitting there looking at me doing my speech and giving me evaluation. So that's how I actually learned in terms of how teamwork comes by and how preparation could actually help you to become a better public speaker. But these are the stories whereby you get to see in terms of when I'm already in JCI. But before I even joined JCI, I'm a person who is also like, I don't know how many of you are like that, but I used to be a person who has quite low self-esteem. In other words, in Mandarin, we call it 对自己没有很有信心. One of the many reasons is because I just felt that I'm not a person worthy to speak in public, and what I say in the public doesn't matter to anyone at all. And you have to imagine that the reason that I have such confidence is because back then I actually wasn't really how to say. I just felt that there's no reason people want to listen to you. I do not know whether you have such a feeling before, but I just always have a feeling that people will always say that, why do I want to listen to you? Are you the president? Back then, I'm not. Are you somebody? Are you a champion? No, you're not. So why would people want to listen to you? I only get to learn this subsequently, also through the actions of my president. He showed it to me through actions. He said that sometimes as a member, as many things as you think you are, but in JCI, our platform is to encourage you to share your feedback, to share what you think. If the moment you feel that there are things whereby you're not comfortable, or there are things whereby you feel that it's actually wrong or not right, or something that you feel that it could be better, we always encourage you to publicly tell us as presidents to say that, hey, actually, I think this one might not work, or hey, this is not exactly the thing I wanted. Okay. So I think that the ultimate goal of public speaking is not only for you to prepare for competition, for those of you who are competing, but also as a part whereby for you to communicate better to your fellow LO presidents, or to your, even in your workplace professionally, to your seniors or management. But I will go in depth much later about that, okay? So first of all, I want you to see these 2 photos, and I want you to unmute yourself to answer me, okay? I will call your name. I just want you to answer me. Let's just try Eugene. Eugene, can you tell me what are the similarities between these 2 photos that you saw, or these 2 pictures? What are the similarities that these 2 share?
They are
just try.
Similarities.
Yeah. What are the similarities?
I
need to think that long.
Yeah.
Okay. I let you keep thinking first. I will try another person for now. Okay. Perhaps I try CD. CD, can you tell me what's the similarities between these 2 movies?
There's a good and evil.
Okay, there's always a good and evil. Then, anything else? Okay, I let you think about it. Sorry, again?
You got superpowers.
Got superpowers? Can lah. I didn't know the force is called superpowers, but can. All right, next one.
It's a lot.
Can I try Honey from JCI Pearl? Honey Toe? I think she's away from keyboard. Okay, let's go back to Eugene. Eugene, what do you think are the similarities?
There are people who manage to win, right? I mean, I don't know, maybe when the movie is, when it's coming to an end, they're actually winning.
Okay.
The heroes for Star Wars and Avengers. I don't know if I'm right.
Somewhere there. Okay, can. All right, how about Lynn from JCI Prime? What do you think?
They are fighters and they are always fighting for the good and killing for the bad.
Okay, somewhere there. All right. Okay, can. How about I hear it from Angelina, JCI Pearl. Angelina, are you there? Okay, Angelina is not around. How about I try Victor? Victor, what do you think are the similarities between these two?
Everyone have their own talent.
Everyone have their own talent. Okay, last one. Can I hear from Miss Dan? Miss Dan, what do you think are the similarities between these two?
Actually, I typed in the chat box. I said they are fighters and they actually have their own expert in their area of responsibility.
Okay, all right. Very
Can I try?
good. Who want to try? Melvin. Yes, Melvin, to come, try.
2 points, right? One, there's a lot of episodes for each of them, right? So there's like multiple come together.
Okay, great. That's
Right?
good.
Number two is usually individually they have their own story. So they come together.
Okay. All right. Melvin is almost there. You are 60-70% there, but let me fill up the remaining 30%.
Go ahead. Take it away.
The stories between these two. Do you know why these two stories are among the most famous movies in cinema till today? You know why? One of the many big reasons these two movies are so famous till today is not because the superheroes and the villains or the bad guys are very clear, but many times or not, it's because each of these superheroes, they have their own weaknesses, they have their own downtimes, they also have the times whereby they overcome those challenges to become the superheroes they are. Same goes to Star Wars. There are 6 episodes. Back then, the original one, there are 6 episodes. Now there are 9 to almost 12. But in Star Wars, if you go and watch the documentary by George Lucas film, a lot of interpreters actually look at Star Wars. Why is it so famous until today? Many reason or not is because the dark side and the light side is always balancing each other. On the first 3 episodes, episode 4, 5, 6, where you see that's when you get to see who? Luke Skywalker. I think a lot of people remember the time whereby his hand got cut off by his father, Darth Vader. Then Darth Vader said, "Luke, I'm your father." Then he just shouted, "No!" But if from that movie, if you watch it till the end, you manage to realize Darth Vader, as bad as he is still trying to overcome the goodness in him to become a better man. And that's how he actually pushed off the biggest Darth Sidious off the cliff, then make sure that he dies. So that's for Star Wars. And if you look at Avengers, you look at each superhero. Let's start with one of the most simplest bad guy, which is the purple guy. I think a lot of people remember him that he actually wanted to, with a snap of fingers, half of the population all around the world disappear. Okay, so a lot of people say that whatever he do is actually a bad thing, but at the same time, if you read the news more about what he's trying to do, quite some number of scientists or even interpreters actually say that what he did is necessary to make sure humanity lives on. Because they say there's an overpopulation all around the world causing a lot of corruption and whatnot. He's just trying to do good, but still he got killed off. So what are these two stories trying to tell you? Is in terms of in every public speaking or in everything that you share to the public. Public speaking is just like storytelling. And in every storytelling, what people really wanted to hear is not so much about how you become successful, not so much about how you suddenly one night you become a millionaire or how you actually become who you are today. But so much what people really wanted to hear is in terms of your downtimes and how you overcome the downtimes and become a new person of who you are. Okay, so this is what I'm trying to share. So I shall move on. So public speaking, like even Jordan Belfort, this is from The Wolf of Wall Street. If you do not know who is Jordan Belfort, you can actually go to YouTube to take a look about his videos and who he is. He's one of the most famous marketeer and in terms of financial advisor. He has been quite famous because he has been a person or an idol in a lot of people in terms of learning about public speaking. And he said this. He said, in terms for you to overcome to speak in public, he said one of the most basic thing is to overcome the fear of what you want to share. Always remember, whenever you share to the public, no matter what, ask yourself this one thing. What is your message or what is the purpose that you want to share to most people? Like for fellow LO presidents who already become a president, their goals are always very clear. Like for President Keith, President Initial, Charter President Leo, their goal has always been trying to inspire and motivate members. Because in JCI, they are not paying you, they are not giving you a salary. They cannot suddenly say today, I don't like you, you are fired. No, they cannot do that because you are part of their organization that helps them to grow together. So what they can do is through public speaking or even calling you up one-on-one, talk until 2 to 3 a.m., hear you cry, hear you laugh, hear you got broke up, but they are the president who is there for you to ensure that you got inspired to become a better self of a version. And all these skills that they have is also a part of public speaking. Okay, so I shall move on again. So I shall cut straight into the things that you can learn in public speaking. So here I wanted you to do one favor for me. I want you to do notes. Write down in your notepad, in your notes or whatever. Make it very simple. And here is the part that I'm gonna share with you in terms of a few pointers in terms of how you can start with crafting your public speaking speech. So let's start with the first point, which is called remember the basic tree. So what is the basic tree of a public speaking? It's always first, always prepare your speech like how you prepare an essay. You will always have an introduction. And you will always have a body, and you always have a conclusion. This is the basics of the basics, just like how you write any karangan, any 作文, or any in terms of essay. It always has a start, a middle point, and an ending. Just like how you watch a movie trailer, whenever they show you, they will always show you suddenly who? Darth Vader push Darth Sidious off the cliff, or even Darth Vader saying to Luke, I'm your father. Then it will start from the very beginning of the movie. Then it start playing from there. Crafting a speech is also almost the same. It's whereby how you as a screenwriter wanted to teach your audience about, how you want them to follow your story. So this is the first thing, remember the tree. Next one. After remembering in terms of how your structure from opening, content, and ending, the next thing that you wanted to ask yourself while crafting the speech is ask yourself, what is your goal of doing this speech? What is your purpose? So let me share you in terms of a video of Obama's winning speech. So to give you an idea in terms of why is it so important in terms of having a speech with purpose, okay? So please let me know if you guys can see this properly. All of you, can you see this? If yes, can you please say yes in the chat box because I cannot see you guys after sharing my video. Can you see my screen video? I haven't played yet. Yes, okay, I'm gonna start playing. Let me know if it's too loud. This video, you can find it in YouTube, of course. All right, I'm gonna just play a very short.
Barack Obama in 2004 was totally unknown. People were saying, I don't know who this guy is. I wonder why they picked him.
He had this reputation as a bit of an upstart, as sort of a young, rising figure in the party, but no one knew who this guy was. This was his chance to introduce himself to people.
Tonight is a particular honor for me because, let's face it, my presence on this stage is pretty unlikely. My father was a foreign student, born and raised in a small village in Kenya.
What makes a great political speech is if you can somehow fold your story into this larger American story.
The next thing he says is about his mother's family. His grandfather fought in World War II. He used the GI Bill. They settled in Kansas, so white people could say, he's just like us.
My parents shared not only an improbable love, they shared an abiding faith in the possibilities of this nation. I stand here knowing that my story is part of the larger American story, that I owe a debt to all of those who came before me, and that in no other country on earth is my story even possible.
Okay, so I'm going to share until that part. So I want you to tell me in terms of when you hear that first 1 minute 30 seconds, what did you learn about from Barack Obama's that particular short video clip? What do you think you learned about? You can just type in the Zoom chat box. If you want to do so, you can also unmute yourself to tell me. What do you think? All right. Introduction of his background while preparing my caucus speech in year 2018. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so in Barack Obama's speech, I think what he started off in terms of, if you can see in that video, you can watch it in full. I'm going to share you the links sooner or later. He started off his story, whenever he do an introduction, he started off with sharing common ground with most people. And in every other public speaking speech, you will always wanted to remember in terms of when you do a particular speech, other than sharing your story, you have to be able to share a story that how people would actually will be on the same page as you. For example, I share a story about myself that I used to be a very timid person. I don't enjoy public speaking. Like many, I also joined JCI for a few months. Then I got being dragged into a workshop, then go for a public speaking competition. And the feeling of not feeling prepared, not feeling good at public speaking, this is something that everybody will actually come by. So this is always a way for you to start your public speaking speech in terms of sharing common ground with most people. But what is the goal of the speech that he's trying to share at the end of the day? If you really watch until the end of the video, his speech is actually at the end is to appeal to the public of having hope. Hope for a better America, hope for a united America, hope for there's no divisive America, but a greater America. So his keyword for his whole speech, if you manage to watch at the end of the video, is actually all about hope. So whenever you craft a speech and whenever you are in a public speaking competition in JCI, I think the first thing you want to ask yourself in terms of what is the key purpose or the key message that you as a speaker wanted to share to your audience. Because that is how people remember you as a speaker in comparison to other speakers also. Okay, so I'm going to continue on. Next part. Next thing that I wanted you to learn about is all about pauses. Why are pauses so important? It's because pauses will actually add drama and power to your speech. There are tense pauses, dramatic pauses, emphatic pauses, and sentence completion pauses. And how is it different from one another? I will show you through video. Okay, so one moment. I'm going to share my screen again. And I want you to listen to this speech and you tell me what do you think of this speech. Okay, you can, the moment you saw this speech, I want you to comment in the chat box and tell me what you hear, okay?
Research actually oil prices differently than did 15 years ago. Tend to go up, stay up through spike field. We have a solve this mechanism for inflatable space. This goes away. Economic benefit science discovery of the United States is overcome. Uses scary scenarios to shock the public, make action more popular. Jaworski evidence will be more on the link debate on the K, but also alarmist of hijacked global warming debate.
I'm a 12th grader at Lexington High School. I've been involved in the policy debate team for all 4 years of my high school experience. I've been doing.
Okay, so from that video, I think most of you saw it. You saw that how fast they are speaking, isn't it? They speak in 350 words per minute, and they are doing a rap. And I can tell you, if you listen to a speech, can you understand what he's talking about? Not at all, isn't it? So let me share with you another video in terms of how about a speaker who actually practices pauses. How different would it be? So I'm going to share you again my screen and you tell me.
You and I are not very different from this flower. Just like this flower is unique, you are unique. All of us has something special that makes us as beautiful. Do you know what makes you special?
So you would actually be able to compare with good pauses at the right time of your speech. It becomes the emphasis of the important points of your speech is also equivalently important. And that's what we always been trying to tell a lot of speakers, that always have good pauses throughout your speech to help you to make your message clearer. Next one. Next tip they're going to teach you is about perfect practice makes perfect. So a lot of people keeps on remember that what this is and always knows that, okay, practice is very important. But I think a lot of people tend to forget in terms of why is it that important. And that's why I'm going to share you another story, another video to tell you why preparation is always important. Okay, tell me, please spam in the chat box if you cannot watch the video, yeah?
But before leaving the White House, the president and Keegan-Michael Key, aka Luther, the president's anger translator, took a moment to perfect part of the speech.
Hold on to your lily white butts. Yeah, I gotta keep it straight. That's the best one. I love that. Oh, what's that? What's that cue? California. Oh, California is bone dry. Y'all think Kerry Washington came up here because she wanted to talk to Chuck Todd? She needed water.
What about our kids? What kind of stupid, irresponsible, short-sighted bull?
Whoa, sir, you got to what? Okay, sir, with all due respect, sir, you don't need an anger translator. You need counseling.
Look at your wife in the face. She's gonna be crying.
She's kidding.
But you gotta stay straight.
So what I wanted to show you in terms of even President Obama himself, when he was actually doing that joke, you can actually saw this in YouTube also, when he was cracking those jokes, he made a lot of preparation to prepare a very good speech when he was actually wanting to laugh to all those jokes, but he actually go through practice and he holds it in that much to make sure that everybody enjoy that night of his public speech and his last speech as the President of the United States. So what I wanted to share you through this particular section is in terms of, always remember, if you want to practice, it's in terms of look into the mirror or even record yourself at such times in terms of how you can improve your speech better. But of course, if you really, really want to have a better way of improving your speech, always look for a partner or look for a friend to help you out whenever you're practicing your public speech. Okay, next one. And the last one, the tip that I wanted to share with you is in terms of last impression equal lasting impression. Always know that at the end of your speech is always the time whereby you share your message, and always remember to try to make your message of your speech at the very last as short as possible, because your last sentence of your speech, what you want your audience to do, or what do you want your audience to understand, those words are the lasting impression for your audience to remember who you are. So moving on. So these are the few tips that I personally find that things that could be helpful for, especially now times are very different. A lot of things are actually being done online for you to do public speaking. One of them is actually eye contact. So always pay attention in terms of how you should set your eye contact. So whenever it's come to set to eye contact, always remember that my tip is that I will always use the one on the right. You see your computer camera, you stick paper down there and just put two eyes so that you will always be focusing on the camera if you're not yet doing so. So this is actually one of the easiest way for you to actually make eye contact so that you could actually have better eye contact with your audience, even though the public speaking nowadays are all being done virtually. Next one. Then here goes the summary that I like to share in terms of how to do a good public speech. First, always remember that a speech has to be a storytelling way because people like to hear stories. Second, the basic tree of a structure of a speech. Third, remember that in every speech, there always has to be a purpose. What do you want to do, or what is the story you wanted to share? And throughout your speech, remember, don't go too fast because the faster you go, the harder the judges will be able to follow you. So always remember to breathe and do pauses. Practice makes perfect. Find a partner, find a friend, find even a coach if you need to, or a friend to be your coach to help you with your public speaking. Because public speaking, doing it alone, is always very, very hard. But if doing it with a friend, it becomes very, very easy. Last one, eye contact. Always remember that now things are all digital and whatnot. A good webcam, good lighting, and even good internet speed is very important for your public speaking contest. So with all those tips, I hope that these at least 6 tips could help you in crafting your own public speaking speech. Okay. So with that, I think I done my part of sharing. It's not too thorough because I hope that to keep things a bit light. But of course, if you have more questions, you can actually post it in the channel. And with that, I shall pass it back to our MC for the day, Juno. Back to you.
Hi, thank you, Joe, for that insightful sharing session. And thank you for the important tips like the basic tree, the importance of pauses, and so on. And I also like how Joe is always very encouraging in such a way that he encouraged all of us, that all of us can be public speakers as well. So now, may I have the slide, please, JQ? So now allow me to introduce our second trainer, Loh E-Jiat. E-Jiat is a very, very experienced public speaker and an experienced Toastmaster. He has achieved the title of Distinguished Toastmasters twice. So for those who are not familiar with this title of Distinguished Toastmasters, Distinguished Toastmaster Award is the highest award or highest achievement in Toastmaster, and he has achieved the title twice. He has judged many, many competitions, including the JCI Area North Convention Public Speaking Contest, and he was the chief judge then. So ladies and gentlemen, would you please unmute yourself and give E-Jiat a big hand? Over to you, E-Jiat.
Thank you very much, June. And of course, Amanda and JCI Pearl and JCI Perai for inviting me over to speak about public speaking. So as what June has mentioned, I have been a Toastmasters for many years. I've joined Toastmasters since I graduated from high school. That was in 2009. So I've been speaking for about 12 years now. So it's definitely a different experience, like what Joe has shared about speaking on stage. But what is always very difficult for us to step out of our comfort zone to go on stage to speak in front of public. But I always believe, in terms of Toastmasters, we don't just talk about public speaking. We focus a lot on communication. So like what Joe said, even if it's just in a Zoom call of 22 people, or if it's a one-to-one coffee date, or even to an audience of 100 people, it's still communication, whether or not it's just a smaller crowd or a bigger crowd. Because no matter what, people are still looking at us, people are still judging us, people are still evaluating us, whatever that we say, whatever that we do. All right. So I have been invited today to actually talk about judging. Right. I just now during the icebreaker session where Joe invited you all to share about yourself, some of you actually spoke about trying to compete but haven't won anything. Basically, what you all need to do is just make sure Joe don't participate because his list is too long already, right? But of course, we all want to know how to win contests. So I would always say that before you actually start to go into a contest, of course, the first thing that you all need to know is what is the speech title. The thing different about JCI and of course Toastmasters is that when you go for a speech contest, public speaking speech contest in Toastmasters, you get to pick your own topic. You can speak about anything you like. But in JCI, you are given a topic, right? You are given something which relates to current issues, something relates to JCI mission. So it's something which is, everybody will be speaking on the same topic, and therefore you need to cut an edge so that you can actually win. It's no longer just about speaking the same thing like someone else. It's not about taking the same story from the news that I saw today and I'm going to share it out. It's not about that. It's about getting an edge out of the other participants or the other contestants. And in terms of how we judge, the most important thing is the paper that you see on the judges' table every time you go into the competition. Every judge is given a judging criteria. Maybe you all can just show of hands how many of you all know what are the judging criteria, or you like to unmute yourself and just shout out what are the judging criteria.
Body language.
Body language.
Eye contact. Content.
Content.
Tonality.
Tonality. So content takes out 15, body language takes out 5, tonality takes out 5. So that's 25 points. In our judging criteria, the total contest, the total marks is actually 40. So what we have to remember is, despite how much we want to inspire our audience, how much we want to do a good job, we are still limited to a scoring criteria that the judges are supposed to follow. Mean to say, if I can deliver a super speech with super great content, but under the judging criteria, my total marks is only 50. But when I don't have my body, when I don't have my eye contact, when I don't have my tonality, I don't have my correct appropriateness in my language, basically I'm just stuck at 15 out of 40. When another participant could be using a lot of body gestures, have a lot of tonality, having good eye contact, and then they may score a little bit higher than you, that will get them a place in the contest, right, on the podium already. So let's talk about judging criteria. This is something that I'm sure all of y'all would have access to. If not, maybe you can get from your LO or your ESCOs. Okay, this is the sharing the second screen, right? Hang on, sorry. Share screen 2. Okay. So let's talk about the first one, where under the JCI Malaysia Public Speaking Championship, basically we focus on JCI Malaysia focus on 3 different categories. The first is content. Second, delivery. And third is language. So in content, first we talk about development. Does the speech have an opening, body, conclusion? Is the speech organized so that the speaker's ideas are clear and easy to follow? I think I will go, I'll just run through every single one. Basically, all of this takes up 5 marks, okay? Just to share with you all, this is the judging sheet. Basically, all of these items that we'll be discussing takes up 5 marks. So we are looking at a total of 40 marks, and that's how you're being judged, right? So the first thing that we're talking about from content is development. Always remember that a speech has to have a good speech organization. I'm sure all of you all remember when you're back in high school, you have to write all the karangan or your English essay or your Chinese essay. And then they will always say that, okay, in the beginning, you need to have a good opening, right? You can use quotes, you can use, very impactful data, things like that. And then at the end, you have to have a closing so that you can have a good summary, you can summarize what you have shared. And then of course, in the middle, during the body, you have maybe like 3 points or 4 points, depending on how much you want to score in your SBM, right? Sometimes you want to get A1 or A+, then you want to write more. So when you develop your speech, it's not about just thinking what you want to say. You know, I'm sure everybody have a lot of things to say, right? Maybe a topic that we're throwing out today are global warming, and you have so many things to say, but you want to throw everything out. The idea is about how you develop and structure your speech so that it can attract the audience to follow and flow together with what you're trying to share. I'm sure like what Joe shared just now, tell them what you want to say, then of course tell them again. You know, there's one technique, right? Of course, the other ones would be to have a very good opening, and then body, maybe deciding on how many points you want to share, and conclusion. And that's when, another thing that Joe shared just now again, which was right, where conclusion is allowing you to have a very good lasting impression, right? You want, when you stand on stage, you want people to have a good first impression. That's when you say your first word. That's when you do your first gesture, what you want to do, whether or not you want to like shout, or you want to just say something very intelligent, quote from some intelligent person. Those are very good first impression techniques that you can use in order for you to get a good start, you know? And after that, when you go into your pointers, then point number 1, point number 2, point number 3, then conclude. Have a good conclusion, summarize what you want to say, summarize what you intended to share, and then that will actually help them, to help the audience especially to bring home a message that you're trying to share with them. Okay, so of course, that seems very easy, you know, like one opening, 3 points, 1 conclusion, no problem. So how to actually score the 4 or 5? I would say that these 3 words are very important. Easy to follow, right? How can points be easy to follow is when you have good transitions. We always say that, oh, my first point is, my second point is, my third point is. Those are very, very basic way to transition between different points. If you can actually use a very nice transition terms, like furthermore, you know, things like that, or link from one point to another. And if you can transition very smoothly, that will allow the audience and of course the judges to flow with your speech very well. Instead of just, 1, 2, 3, then that will actually not allow, it will actually sound a little bit jerky if you ask me, right? So transition is something very important in terms of speech development. Okay, second would be effectiveness. We talk about purpose. What is the purpose of the speech? Does the speaker accomplish the purpose? Did the speaker consider the audience and occasion when preparing the speech? And how does the audience react to the speech? Right? So obviously, the occasion will be definitely a speech contest. It's definitely for you to win. The topic is all the same. So, end of the day, you need to remember what is the purpose of our speech. There are a few different purposes we speak, you know. Sometimes we are just here to inform. You know, like what our Prime Minister comes out over there, he's just basically every day trying to just informing of the numbers, the cases, or what's the MCO status. Those are just speeches to inform, right? You have like what Joe had shared just now, Barack Obama, he's there to inspire. Some are up there on stage to entertain, some are up there on stage to be humor, try to entertain people with jokes and things like that. So when you are given your topic, it's not necessary that you just need to stick to, oh, I'm just going to speak about this, about the issues that's happening around us, then full stop. You have to first set your objective or the purpose of what you are trying to deliver. Are you here to inform? Maybe the effects of global warming, that's informing. Are you trying to entertain us with various stories about how global warming has actually screwed up the human life, you know, maybe, if you want to make it entertaining or if you think that it's entertaining? Or are you trying to inspire people to put in an effort to stop global warming? So what is the specific or the general purpose of your speech? First, that's something that you have to decide. If we are directionless, you won't go anywhere. You'll be driving in circles, you'll be writing your speech. It's just a 7-minute speech. So you'll be throwing all your ideas in, throwing. By the end of the day, you won't be able to share with the audience what you actually intend to deliver. What is the purpose of your speech? So I would think that it's very important to know what is the purpose. So of course, if you can use that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to inspire all of you or to call for an action so that all of you all will actually join me to stop global warming. You know, that is the purpose in the beginning. And by the end of the day, if you have shared your points and you have actually managed to inspire the audience, it will definitely be effective. All right. Next would be value. You know, again, like I said, once your topic is fixed, you are going to be sharing a lot of similar contents with your fellow participants. So how do you get an edge over them? It's when you are able to create and generate more value to the audience. So the only thing special about us is our own personal stories. And when you're able to share your personal stories to the audience, and of course, if you are able to share and relate to the audience, then it will create value for the participants, I mean to the audience, and of course to the judges. Right? And most importantly is when you want to share any thoughts or any pointers in your speech, they need to be original. Right? They need to be something that it comes from you. If you take an idea that you have plucked out somewhere from the internet, yes, it may work, but it will not be so effective if it's not original. I always believe that when you talk about something about yourself, you're more sincere, it will come out more naturally and you'll be able to inspire more people, right? And of course, when we conclude, you have to have a message. So did the message stimulate the listeners' thinking and growth? That's another thing that we all always want to do, right? But of course, like I said, if your purpose is just to inform, this point may not be valid, right? But if your purpose is to inspire, is to persuade, then yes, you will need to be able to stimulate the listener's thinking and growth. So know the purpose beforehand. So I'd like to share this 5-letter thing, WIIFM. All right. Whenever you craft your speech, whenever you write your speech, always remember WIIFM. What's in it for me? Me not in terms of the speaker, me in terms of the audience. You want to be able to communicate and reach out to the audience who you're speaking to. So, you know, when we speak, for example, like I'm here, maybe taking about half an hour or 45 minutes to share, I have to make sure that I know what you all want before you'll be able to, before you'll come and join and spend your Sunday night listening to me speak, right? So of course, what's in it for you? You will want to be able to know judging criteria. You want to know how to be a better speaker, things like that, right? So when you are a participant or a contestant standing on stage, you're delivering a 5 to 7 minute speech, you want to be able to know what the audience want to hear. So knowing the audience is very, very important. You want to know, of course, we can't guess who are they or who is everybody, you know, how many percent of male, how many percent of female, how many are professionals, how many are white collar, you know, we don't know that. So you just need to generalize it and be able to come up with a message that applies to most audience and be able to give them something to take home too. So WIIFM, what's in it for me? And of course, what's in it for the audience? So if you are able to master these 3 things, basically you have 15 marks out of 40. So now let's talk about the second point, which is delivery. So I'm not sure if any of you know that actually in public speaking, let's assume that public speaking is 100%. Content, despite it holding 15 marks, in terms of public speaking, content only takes up 7%. When you are on stage, what is more effective is actually the nonverbal communication. So your body language takes up 55%. Body language would include your eye contact, your hand gestures, how you stand, your posture, your facial expression, whether you're animated or you're very strict or very angry. that takes up 55%, right? And your vocal variety means how you use your tone, like someone shouted just now, tonality, that takes up 38. And with the remaining 7% is just content. Meaning to say, if you are unable to deliver with good body language, with good vocal variety, basically 93% out of 100 will actually not pay attention to you. Despite how important your content is, how important your message may be, how good you have crafted your speech. So it's important to focus also on delivery. So as you can see that in this scoring sheet, delivery also takes up 50 marks, which is almost similar to the content. So first of all, would be appearance. Is the speaker properly attired? Do clothing and accessory add to speaker's effectiveness? I think most of us would actually score full marks on this. As long as you put on your coat, it says you dress well. Basically, there's nothing that the judges can actually score you down. But always remember that you don't want to accessorize yourself too much. You know, don't wear too many jewelries. Sometimes jewelries will actually cause you to distract the judges. You know, like for example, what I remember is last time there's a guy with a watch. He always adjusts the watch. You know, it may not be something so major, but it's actually very distracting if you keep doing so. Right? So of course, like guys, we button our coat. Sometimes I will actually, you know, I have a tendency of doing this when I have my coat. Then or else I will just put my hand in my pocket a lot when I speak. So those are the things that will actually distract the audience and of course the judges. So properly attired, yes, it's easy to hit the marks, but try not to accessorize yourself too much and try to take note of all these small details that may distract the speakers, the audience from your speech. Okay, next, body language. As we have said, we have eye contact, we have body gestures, we have stage presence, we have posture, a lot of things in terms of body language. Okay, so are you standing alert? Do gestures, eye control, movement complement your words and messages? So I am not sure the next contest whether you'll be having it virtual or not, or is it going to be physical like the last year's contest where only the judges and the participants will be in the same room. If it is still that format like last year, I think it's still okay, it's still fine, you still have audience, it's easy to play with eye contact with people. But if you're going on virtual, like what Joe said, eye contact is going to be something which a lot of people, including myself, can't really control. You know, I'm actually looking at all of you now, trying to look at all of you. I'm not looking at the pinhole camera. I just can't, somehow, I just can't. But we always have to remember that that is something to take note if you are in a virtual contest. Okay, other than that, second would be to know and be familiarize yourself with the screen. You know, this camera is giving you this very short, this very small frame. So if you're going to use a lot of hand gestures, you're going to move a lot. You want to be able to allow yourself and allow your body to speak, not half of it in the other side of the camera and the other half when you move to the left and right. Okay, so that's another thing that you have to remember. Of course, movement complements word and message. This is something that is actually very useful on and off. You know, when you're talking about points, there's this thing called triads, T-R-I-A-D-S, triads, which means that words that comes in three. It's actually very effective when you put it in speeches, like this boy is handsome, smart, and professional. You know, when you say it in three, it actually gives more impact. So how to use movement to complement that is when you say the first one, you take a step. When you say the second, you take another step. When you say the third, you take another step, and maybe it's forward to the judges or to the audience. It will actually be very effective for them to wow. You know, it gives it a lot of levels for us to actually want to hear more and be more impressed and things like that. But of course, remember that sometimes too much movement can also lead to an assumption that, hey, maybe someone is actually very nervous, that you walk a lot or you sway a lot and move a lot. Okay. And speaking of swaying, speaking of nervousness, there's also another thing is about posture. When you stand, try to keep your legs shoulder width apart, right? Then you stand firm. Don't like put your weight on one left or right. You know, sometimes we just tend to slant a bit because we're more comfortable that way. Try to be confident. You know, because when you're on stage, you are the man or women of that 7 minutes, 5 to 7 minutes. You don't want to be seen as slouching. You don't want to be seen as like a hunching. You want to be confident. You know, chest up, legs shoulder width apart. They'll actually give you a lot of confidence when you're speaking because you speak with authority that way. But if you don't, then somehow the confidence level, when how the audience look at you actually reduce a lot, will actually decrease. Okay. Next would be voice, tonality. So is the speaker's voice pleasing? Are the words spoken clearly and at adequate volume? Do rate and pitch vary? Does the speaker's voice show feelings, emotion, and enthusiasm? So, like I said, vocal is also very important, especially now. You know, now due to all this virtual setup, sometimes we are forced to close our webcam. Sometimes we are just forced to close our camera, and we just listen to volume. You know, we just listen to the voice, right? So remember that to tackle voice, there's actually 3 P's. Okay, the 3 P's: pace, pauses, and pitch. So pace is like what, I think Joe shared a lot just now. Pace is how fast you speak. At certain part of the speech, you can speak fast. Like for example, if you want to illustrate some kind of like very urgent matter, like, oh, today there's like what, 5,000 cases, you know, COVID cases, blah, 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 blah. You want it to be a faster pace because it's urgent, it's anxious. You want to create the kind of excitement, not excitement, the kind of anxiousness or anxiety when we report, when we report about the cases, then you have to increase the pace. But when you conclude, you know, when you talk about a message or when you're going to something like a story or a sad story, you want to slow down your pace so that the people can absorb. You know, you can actually listen and absorb what the person is, what the speaker, what you are trying to say as a contestant, the story, things like that. Okay, so pace. Second will be pitch. You know, pitch is volume, you know, whether it's high pitch, low pitch. Pitch helps for you to actually bring the audience into the climax that you want them to bring. Sometimes we talk about something very exciting, but our pitch stays the same, our volume stays the same. It's like, so, you know, okay, so today I went to work in the morning, then I got a roadblock. So the police asked me, "E-Jiat, where are you going? Where do you go?" I said, "I went to work." So after that, I drove off lah. You know, I gave them my letter and I drove off. So this is just monotonous. You don't want that. You want, oh, maybe when you reach to the police, they're like, oh, you know, when you reach to the roadblock, you want to be able to raise the voice or say, oh, by what, you know, things like that. You shout a little, you increase your voice a little. That will actually help to create the scene where, oh, okay, so that's a climax. And then when you leave, then you have to think, police, let me go, you know, things like that. That will actually help to add some colors, add some emotions to your speech. And of course, last would be at the end of the conclusion, like what they say, enthusiasm. So what's your message? If you're trying to inspire people, you want to say, hey guys, let us all stop global warming together. One person, if you take an action, if every one of us off our aircon from 5 at night and we don't sleep with aircons every night, you'll be able to stop global warming. You know, you don't want to be saying it in a very down tone. Then people will say, okay lah, whatever you say, that's it. But if you say it with more energy, with more enthusiasm, chances are people will want to act together with you because they believe what you said, because they think you believe what you are saying as well. You talk the talk and you walk the walk, right? So that's voice. Last would be language. Language is the speaker's word choice and grammatical skills. So the things that we're looking out for is appropriateness, whether the speaker's words fit the occasion and audience, and do they provide understanding of his message. So that, of course, also comes down to how strong our vocab are and how strong we think we know the audience understand. So for example, if I'm I'm an accountant, and then I talk a lot of those accounting terms, like the Malaysian financial reporting standards. So it talks about intangible assets, it talks about assets, it talks about this, it talks about that, cash flow, operating activities. Amanda is already looking away. I think she don't even know what I'm saying. But when we are trying to speak to a group of audience where there's different knowledge, different level of understanding, different experience, different exposure, we need to be able to pick appropriate words. And I always say simple words would actually do the trick. It's very nice, it's very interesting to watch people who can use a lot of bombastic vocabulary. It's nice. But are we able to relate to the audience? That's something that we need to remember. Relating would be actually more important than putting up a show. So I believe that if you use simple words, it's actually more effective, and you can actually fit the occasion and the audience a level of understanding even better. Second will be correctness, whereby you use the correct grammar, you use correct pronunciation, you use good enunciation, and whether you are able to master the words chosen to convey a message. So practice, that's the best thing that you can do. Practice with someone, record yourself, listen back. If you can't catch what you're trying to say, probably the way that you mention or you read it out is not suitable. And of course, in terms of grammar, there's something I always want to highlight, or one thing I always note is that when we are trying to illustrate a story, we always forget that we are in the past. Then we use present, right? So whenever you are trying to talk about the past, you have to use past tense. When you use past tense, it actually makes it sound more accurate and more appropriate, right? But anyhow, don't worry about grammar. I'm sure this is something that a lot of us are actually nervous about whenever it comes to English public speaking, especially when JCI you have 3 languages public speaking, right? So you'll be like, oh, okay lah, English is not my mother language, so I don't really want to join this contest. So in grading language, judges should take into consideration whether or not competitor is delivering the speech in his or her native language or not. So if the judges sense that you are not speaking the language that you are using commonly, this is something of first few attempts in delivering English, we will actually cut you some slack. So don't worry about that. Most important is message. Most important is what you're trying to deliver, the purpose of your speech, and whether you have picked good stories to be sharing with the audience. And I think that's very, very important. All right. So all in all, this is the judging criteria, like I've mentioned. A total of 40 marks. You just need to be able to tick the boxes. Don't think too much, Of course, if you're talking about public speaking in general, there's so much more things that we can look out for. There's so much more things that you can actually try to improve on different occasions. For example, if you're doing a dinner speech, you're doing a presidential speech at an event, or whatsoever, there's so many different types of speeches that we can talk about. But if you're looking into winning contests, if you're looking to winning Joe one day, focus on these 40 marks, focus on these 8 criteria. If you can score 5 for all of them, you will win already. Or it's not even 5, maybe 4, right? If you have a consistent 4 for all 8 of them, the chances of you actually getting a place on the podium is actually very, very high. So focus on the criteria, keep practicing like what Joe mentioned, right? And I'm sure that one day all of you will be able to have that long list of achievements as what Joe have done previously. So with that, I think I'll pass it back to June for the Q&A session. Thank you.
Thank you, E-Jiat, for sharing with us, especially on the judging criteria, importance of transition, vocal variety, originality, and so on. So now we are in the Q&A session. So if you would like to ask questions, you can type the question in the chat box or feel free to unmute yourself and ask our trainers questions.
I have a question.
Okay.
Melvin here. Sorry, I probably could have missed it. So how long usually is the public speaking?
I think I will help E-Jiat to answer on behalf.
Sure.
So your timing for English public speaking competition. So you're referring to the timing in the rule book for English public speaking, yes?
Yes.
It's 5 to 7 minutes. Anything less than 5 or more than 7, you'll be disqualified. Yes.
Got it. Thanks.
No problem. Okay.
I
Let's.
have a question here.
Yes, June.
I received a question. It
Wow,
says,
you received a question.
yeah, it says, how do we assess ourselves during speech giving? Is it too late to do better during a speech? How do we assess ourselves during speech giving? Is it too late to do better during a speech?
Perhaps I can give my answer first, then perhaps we can have a listen in terms of what E-Jiat think. So
Yeah,
to
thank
rephrase
you.
your question, I think your question is asking more about how to be aware how good we are doing while we are giving speech.
Yeah,
Is it?
that's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think to be usually for myself at least, whenever I do public speaking,
Sorry, I think
Yeah, Joe is
has
lagging.
connection issues, right? So E-Jiat, would you like to answer
Yeah.
that question? Yeah.
So most important when you are, I think when we are doing a public speaking, one thing not to do is not to be like Joe and freeze on stage if you screw up. A lot of times, right, what we actually have happen a lot is that you write a long speech, you memorize your speech, you deliver a speech. Then when you deliver a speech, when you reach the point where you somehow just forgotten, you just got stuck on stage and you just can't continue, right? I'm sure many of us actually done that, or then after that you have to refer to your speech. Actually, I think 2 weeks ago or last weekend, actually, when I went for a competition, I just forgotten my speech. Forgotten that very line, it's very frustrating sometimes. But we need to remember that when you are on stage, regardless of what happens, just keep moving, just keep doing. So the question is how, the question everybody will say, yeah, you 12 years ma, you okay lah, right? So let me share with you how I actually practice my speech. I also write my speech. I write the whole speech always. So when do I practice my speech is I practice when I'm driving, I practice when I'm bathing. These are the 2 times when I can't have access to my script. So what happens is when I keep practicing, I keep memorizing, reading, I got stuck, right? I force myself to say something to just move on, okay? That will actually help you because you cannot refer, right? You cannot refer to a paper. So when you cannot refer paper, you actually force yourself to say something. And one of the things I realized is that when you get stuck in a speech, it's because the speech didn't flow smooth enough. So when it didn't flow smooth enough, that's the reason why you forget, or that's the reason why you got stuck. So I would say that this is a way that y'all can actually practice or try if y'all wish to, is see whether this method works or not. But to answer June's question, it's always too late to regret at a point of time. So don't stay at the moment, just move on. Even if you forgot something, no problem, just keep saying, just keep speaking. That will actually, you still, like maybe at the third minute you forgot something, you still have 4 more minutes to actually get the audience back to inspire them. So don't stay at the moment and don't keep evaluating yourself at that point of time, but evaluate yourself later on. Then improve the next speech when you deliver, right? Joe, you're back. Okay.
Hi. Yes. Thank you so much. I think to add on what E-Jiat already said, I think what he shared is quite a fair thing in terms of there's no point for you to evaluate while you're doing speech, unless when you are doing a speech, you are looking exactly to a mirror and you're correcting on the spot instantaneously on how you're doing well, which to many professional speakers that I saw is that they say this is actually counterproductive, or this is actually, it will damage you more than it will help you. For the very good reason is because your focus should be more about how you are sharing speech, more than how you are going to instantaneously share your speech and also multitask to improve on your speech. So, like the very fair is that when you start speaking, just go according to the flow. If you forget what you want to say, just continue on with what is your thoughts. So what do I mean by that? One of the very easy tips that usually I myself do is that I cannot remember speech word by word. I don't know. Depending on prefer to memorize speech with a very full script like an actor, word for word speech ideas through points by points. Okay, there's no right or wrong in terms of which part you want, but whichever part that allows you to remember easily what you want to say next is actually also at the point of time whereby I forgot my speech when I was sharing halfway. I think Egypt would notice that because he was my judge many years back also for competition. But I think as a judge, what we really wanted to see is that we understand that you are human. 你一定会忘记你的 speech to a certain extent when you are new, very nervous, you will confirm forget a bit. But what we really wanted to see is terms that when you forget, at that point of time, you stun. How you manage to come back? How to manage to make a comeback? You stun a while, like suddenly, hey, oh shoot, I go blank already. How you make yourself look as in, although you look blank, but you're not blank. So what I do for myself is always that I play around with pauses. Whenever I forget something what I wanted to say, I will start to do my eye suggest. I will make it as if, I got something very to say already, but actually I forgot what I wanted to say. So I drag time. I think more. Yes, apologies. So yeah, I'm not too sure where I missed. My internet is a bit laggy, yes. To answer Miss Dan, online public speaking is easier than physical in front of audience. In my humble opinion, I say it's very different. I personally find online public speaking is harder than physical public speaking. I do not know how many of you agree, but online public speaking, you got internet connection to be headache off. You're afraid anytime your internet, Telecom Malaysia will suddenly say, sorry, today we want to work slower, and you cannot say anything about it while you pay consistently 100 something over on a monthly basis, but they get slow, you cannot complain. Two, you also have to make sure that you have a very nice headset because the judges need to be able to hear you clearly. Why? Because I can tell you, we do come by contestants whereby their equipment is not good. The judges try as much as they can, wanted to say, okay, fine, because you have no choice, your mic is not good, we forgive you. But I can tell you when you go to international level, as much as the judge wanted to help you, but they cannot help themselves because psychologically speaking, when you hear a voice through an online setting, which is very smooth, very clear, and you hear a voice is very noisy and very sharp, you as a judge, you will confirm you will prefer the one with a better voice. That is just how you as a human, you will react. So I would say that looking it from a total perspective, I would say that internet is more challenging. Physical is that you go there, you speak finish, you want to go home, you want to go where, everything there and then, and at least you can see your audience and you can feel their emotions in the room. I don't know what do you understand what do I mean by feel the emotions? Like for example, right now you are through physical, you're through the screen. If today you switch off your camera, I can't even tell whether the joke that I'm saying or anything that I'm saying, can you take it or not? Or is it because I'm too lag? That's why you have no reaction. So your reaction that I'm seeing right now is always 1 to 2 seconds delay. Like if I say something very funny, I laugh already. Then I wait for 2 seconds later. Oh, you laugh. Then good. My joke is good. So this will always be a challenge. But I'm not too sure how does E-Jiat see this. Perhaps let's hear it from E-Jiat too.
I've been trained to speak physically. So I love human interaction. Like what Joe said, we need to hear people laugh. We need to hear people react. Very fortunate that tonight many of you are actually on your video. So when we say things, you nod your head, you smile. I mean, there's some smile here. And we actually know that you are actually listening to us. But of course, that will actually compromise me having to have eye contact with the Pinot camera. So this is something that all of us have to take note. So of course, I'm very impressed that, you know, those people when they do Facebook Live, how they do it, when they just go online contests, like what Joe said, if all of you are off your video, what will happen? In Toastmasters, the contest, they actually ask everybody to off the videos. So you can actually all see only names, like then JCI Pearl, then JCI Perai, JCI Perai, JCI Perai, JCI Pearl. You know, that's the things that you see only, you know, and you don't know what's happening. You are just going to rely on what you have prepared to actually reach out to the audience. So I would say it's going to be a very different speaking platform now that because of COVID and all this MCO and whatnot. But we have to remember, end of the day, for me at least, when we speak, we communicate. You want to be able to reach out and communicate to the people you are speaking to. That's most important, regardless of whether it's on virtual, on a phone call, face-to-face, in front of an audience of 100, it doesn't matter. Most important, you're able to communicate a message, bring out the message, and make sure that you can actually, like what I said just now, the IIFM, what's in it for me? Make sure that the time that you spend or they spend listening to you, it's worth it. That's most important.
Thank you. President Chief, I understand that you have a question to ask, right?
Okay, I have a question to ask. So normally, like for my personally, I feel that during like I speak now is like more, you know, relaxed and easy rather than when we go to physical, when we want to speak, sometimes we have like point of blank out. Suddenly we cannot even think about what we're going to say. Then like what President Joe say, like we have to act like we also don't let people to know that we actually forget some point or anything. Then how to continue, then that's the very any tips or anything that we can like, you know, go forward with a very confident. Attended the presenter training before, so when I on the stage itself, I become talk 2 minutes, then I become blank, then I say, oh shit, I forget whatever things that I'm trying to say. Continue on. Thanks.
I think E-Jiat, you want to answer this first, I think.
I guess end of the day, right, you just got to keep doing, you know, keep doing it until it's familiar, you know. Maybe I just share with you one of what I spoke about at my contest the other day. I actually spoke about quantity versus quality, right? How many of us, I'm sure many of you here are actually focused on quality. And that's the reason why, yeah, right, you know, I see Dan putting up a hand. We all focus on quality to the point where if we screw up, we blame ourselves. We just feel that we're not good enough. Then from there on, you just don't want to do anymore. But what I've learned from Toastmasters at least, right, is that quantity is what makes quality. If you don't speak consistently, means to say that if you only speak once every 6 months and you are thinking that you're going to do good in that speech, chances are you are a supernatural public speaker, right? And you have already that kind of stage presence that you're already so good about it already. But if not, you have to keep doing it. You just have to keep speaking no matter what. take whatever opportunity that you have to speak, and speak. So I think that's one of the reasons why Joe did it in the beginning of the session, to get everyone just to speak 30 seconds. If he didn't do it, then how are we saying that we join a public speaking workshop, right? You have to come and speak. If you have the 30 seconds, you speak 30 seconds. If you have 1 minute, you speak 1 minute. If you have 7 minutes, you speak 7 minutes. So like I said, the reason why I can become just to correct Joe, I'm actually only 2-time distinguished Toastmasters. To be a distinguished Toastmasters, we need at least 60 speeches. 60. I got mine in, I think, 2 or 3 years, means 2010. 2010. I got my first and then the second in 2011. So imagine that I have to do about 120 speeches in that 3 years, 4 years. So basically how I do it is whenever I go everywhere, I just speak. When I travel to KL, I speak. I go here, I speak. I just take whatever opportunity I speak, just speak. So then that's how you improve. And practice, of course, that's number 2, and prepare your speech. Find the way that you can actually be able to deliver a speech comfortably. Means if you need to write a whole speech, you write a whole speech. If like Joe, you can't memorize a whole speech, you have to write by pointers, you write by pointers. But whatever it is, you just need to find the way to actually do it and put in the time and quantity, then you can able to deliver something very comfortably on stage. But I always say this, even I have been speaking for 12 years, I'm still nervous. Like when Amanda asked me to be, I keep texting her, I say, what, you want me to speak? How many people? What's the topic? What's the level of audience? I will keep asking her, I'm still nervous. But the difference is that when you keep speaking and you're comfortable on stage, you are able to control the nervousness. You are able to show the audience that you are okay, you are ready, you are someone that we want to listen to. But I know I'm also very nervous now. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, E-Jiat. I think, Keith, for my own humble opinion is that I think it comes down in terms of what you really, when you're doing a speech to speak to the public, I think what you really want to ask yourself is that, what is your message? 你到底到最后你要跟大家 share 的重点是什么？ So whenever I try to do a speech, and if I forget the speech halfway through when I was sharing something, I will try to always just remember one strong point. If today suddenly my 7-minute speech, let's just say on my second minute, 我到第2分钟 second minute, I forgot the middle part of the story. Like the middle part could be 3 minutes, which is my second till 5th minute. I totally forgot what I wanted to say. I will always remind myself, okay, if I forget, I will straight go into the point whereby I tell that everybody, in summary, 在总结论来说，我要跟你讲是什么。In summary, what I want to tell you is like that. So I will just cut everything off, like an emergency plan. So I think you can also try another way is that whenever if you're too nervous or you're afraid that, hey, I'm afraid later I really will go blank, because you will know one. You will feel nervous even before going blank because you already know that feeling is coming. So what I do, even in World Congress, when I was doing debating championship World Congress, when we actually encounter UK as an opponent, my opponent was so strong because they are world competitive debaters, which means what, they are debating whereby to an extent whereby they are earning money through debating one. And we Malaysia team, we are all non-professionals. So I also has this fear because debating and public speaking is almost similar. So how do I overcome is that whenever if I know that I'm too nervous, I might forget something, I will just write one point. Okay, today if I forgot what I want to say everything, okay, this is the summary of the point I wanted to say. So I just say that if it happens. But to be very smooth, to be able to control the feeling of that you're very control about where you are, like E-Jiat said, it's you push yourself to practice. It reminds me of also the article that I just read from Harvard Business Review. You guys can go look for a book called HBR, Harvard Business Review. They have very good pointers in terms of how to improve public speaking, especially when you are going for CEO level or you're going to be a professional or even as a good public speaker. One point there I think is very good. They say that public speaking is a skill set whereby it requires what's the word? It's called persistence. In other words, called determination of keep on improving. And it says also this, it says that many people, they will come to a point, they keep practice. But after 3 months already, they feel that 3 months they can achieve what they want, but they hit one point, they cannot go up. They will stuck there. So it said that this is actually the point whereby you have to keep on pushing yourself, because it's not that you cannot see you reach that particular bar, but it needs you put in a little bit more time, then you will become a very new version of yourself. What does it mean? I think you saw a picture before that someone like digging in the hole. Then at the very last part, that one last wall is to the gold. All inside there's gold and diamonds, and he gave up already. He walked past. So learning public speaking is also something like that. Because right now all you have is time, and time equals preparation. And the more you prepare, I can definitely bet with you. Any one of you could actually win me if you put enough preparation to it. Any of you. So use your time, use it wisely, and like perfect practice makes perfect. The challenges that you have, it's just you need people to guide you and whatnot. Give yourself that timeline and you practice, confirm you will get there, man. So that's my answer to it. Yeah. Back to you, Jude.
Just a very last question from Andy. Andy asks whether or not grammar errors will actually affect our presentation, because he said usually we use spoken English for public speaking. So, would E-Jiat or Joe want to take that question?
Like I said, will grammar errors affect your presentation? I would say yes, if you keep thinking about the grammar mistakes. Okay, so for example, if you are very concerned about your grammar or your English proficiency, you will keep thinking, oh yeah, I should have said he has ma, not he have ma. Then you will play with your mind and it will actually affect your presentation. Okay, that's to answer your question. But if you're asking me whether it will affect judging, okay, I think definitely it will affect a little. But in the judging criteria, it says that very clearly, if this is not your native tongue, I'm gonna let you off easy one, right? So definitely I won't score you 1 out of 5 or 0 out of 5 because you keep using he have. Definitely I wouldn't, right? Because I know that you may have tried very hard, but it's not something that you can change overnight. Okay, so if you're talking about judging, okay, if you're talking about presentation, also, if you are like I said, don't keep thinking about the mistakes. If you keep thinking about mistakes and you keep wanting to do good grammar when you know that you can't, then it will actually screw your mind. It will actually make you just be unable to deliver a very good presentation. So don't think too much. What I would say is write out a speech. Okay, if you write a speech, you can get someone. If you write on time, in time to get someone to correct your grammar for you, by all means do it. Then you practice with the correct grammar. It will help. But if you do it on a last minute basis, like what I do last time is when my mentees, they actually give me a speech, right? I actually use red ink. I change red font on words. I change red, the whole thing all red. Right? By the time they go on stage, right, they also cannot do everything that I write for them. But if you do it on the last minute, please don't. I would just say, just forget it. Okay, focus on presentation, focus on your message, focus on delivery. That will actually help you gain more points rather than focusing too much on grammar. Grammar is just 5. You can still win with 35 points, you know. But if you lose all the other points everywhere and you just get extra 1 point or 2 points in grammar, it may not actually help in terms of your contest. All right. Just to share with you, I actually know people who can't speak very fluent English in Toastmasters. They are Chinese educated, but they play a lot of animation. They play a lot of stage presence. They just use a lot of vocal variety. They are very hyper and very energetic on stage. Because of that, they actually won contests as well. So this proves that communication is not about English proficiency. It's not about grammar. Communication is about communicating an idea. is about conveying your message. And I think that's what's most important. So Andy, don't worry. Even if you spoken English, you can still beat Joe. Hey, he's not here.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your questions, and thank you both trainers for conducting this workshop for us. It's getting late, so before we close our event, we would like to present our token of appreciation for our trainers. Can we have the slide, please? We would like to present the certificate of appreciation for our first trainer, Chang. Is he here? Okay, then
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I'm
So
smiling.
May I have our OC and both of our presidents to smile so that JQ can actually take a picture?
Smiling in 3,
You may want
2.
to pin the 3 people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
JQ, can you please pin the 3 people?
I think somehow his Zoom account can't do that proper. Even the co-hosting is not working right. So I think it's fine. We just take a group photo together with the 2 presidents if possible. If not, I also can do it at my end. I'm looking at 2 presidents right now. So 2 presidents smile in 3, 2, 1, smile. Okay, done.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Joe. Okay, now, next slide, please.
Right. E-Jiat, can you start speaking?
Hi.
Okay,
Yeah.
so can we have our OC and both of our presidents to smile? Joe, are you going to take the picture for us?
Yes, I can help you with that. Give me one moment, yeah?
Thank you.
June also
Okay.
talk something.
Okay, I cannot see Keith. Keith, where are you? Keith,
Hello,
Keith.
I'm here.
Yes, yes. You speak. You speak. You don't stop speaking.
Yes.
If not, you disappear. Okay.
Thank you.
In
Thank you,
3,
President
2, 1, smile. 3, 2, 1, smile again. Last one. 3, 2, 1, smile. Okay, Ken, done.
Thank you, Joe, for helping us to take the picture. So, ladies and gentlemen, what an informative night we have had tonight. And personally, I've learned a lot today, and I believe all of you have also learned a lot about public speaking. Speech is power. So let us, like Joe said, let us overcome our fears and start to equip ourselves with this life skill. And for those who are on Zoom, please don't forget to fill in the evaluation form, which Amanda has already posted on the chat group. And thank you so much once again for joining us here tonight. With that, I wish all of you a very good night and have a good day tomorrow.
Thank you, everyone. Hope you guys have a happy blue or not blue, but good Monday. Bye-bye. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, June. Thank you, Amanda.
You're welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, June. Thank you, trainer. Thank you, JQ. Thank you, OC.